There are 6 actions that transform you into greatness. A formula that has shaped great individuals across all fields. Simplify what you do. Do it with joy. Do it with faith. Do it gently. Do it regularly. Be mindful while doing it. I call this the roadmap of transformation. We often tirelessly seek complex formulas for success, yet forget one simple truth. Life actually revolves around just a few small principles. But these must be principles we live out to the fullest. Welcome to Inner World Podcast, where I, Liam Johnson, join you in exploring the inner world, cultivating wisdom, and developing a profound way of living. Here, we do not take you far, but rather bring you closer to yourself, so that from there, you can build a life that is more meaningful, more peaceful, and more resilient. Today, we officially enter a very special chapter in the 21-session journey of understanding the inner self. A chapter that will not only help you understand others, but more importantly, teach you how to treat yourself and restructure your entire life based on the principle of simple yet profound living. In the previous parts, we explored together the reality triangle of appreciation and gratitude, the 9 personality types you need to recognize to build healthy organizations and relationships, and especially the formula for nurturing a truly people-centered organization from the inside out. And today we will step into the next 4 parts, which are also the 4 foundational building blocks for anyone who wants to become a truly resilient individual within family, career, and life's journey. We will start with a proper understanding of talent and how to treat them in order to retain them, then dive into the principle of the grape cluster and upward growth in organizations. From there, we will unlock the art of simplifying life based on 4 pillars and 9 golden words in marriage. And finally, we will conclude with a simple yet intentional action formula, the true essence of greatness. There is a truth. We often judge others by their results, but rarely observe the depth in their daily actions. That very thing makes the difference between someone who appears successful and someone who is truly great from within. And do not miss the final part, where I will share something that I believe is the key to anyone wanting to transform their life from the inside out. Now, let us begin the journey of discovery, starting from the simplest things, because it is that very simplicity, yet done with intention, that still holds the rare power to keep us grounded in today's overly complex world. Once we understand that life is the art of repetition in mindfulness, the next step I want you to truly reflect on is this: a proper understanding of talent and how to treat them to make them stay. As long as you truly respect one person, you will earn the respect of thousands. And you will see that in any organization, or even in your own family, every enduring strength begins from the attitude of looking upward, not downward. We often confuse a competent person with someone who can elevate an organization. A hard-working person is not necessarily talent. A highly skilled person is not necessarily talent either. Talent is someone who can elevate others and who holds an upward-looking attitude. But then what happens? We let them fall into environments where respect is only lip service. We rush to defend junior employees when there's conflict with their superiors. We teach our children to blame their parents instead of learning how to communicate with respect. We let our cluster of grapes, our organization, family, or community, be uprooted simply because no one was willing to hold it firmly from the root. A great organization can collapse with just one downward attitude. You cannot retain a talented person if all you offer is salary. You cannot keep them if you do not give them the chance to express who they are. And you absolutely cannot keep them if they feel distrusted or doubted. Try showing deep respect to one woman, and you will see 1,000 others look at you differently. Similarly, if in your organization you know how to properly respect the right person, you will see the entire operating system transform. A leader does not need to say much, but they must have the right mindset. Do not rush to conclusions. Do not speak ill of your superiors. Do not use negative words in times of conflict. And most importantly, always uphold the dignity of the organization by looking upward before dealing with issues downward. I have witnessed many organizations fall, not because they lacked talent, but because those in the middle did not know how to maintain rhythm. You might be a department head, the bridge between leadership and your team. But if every time a conflict arises, you quickly take sides, you are harming the trust of both ends. Therefore, slow down, ask carefully, create the conditions for everyone to sit down together. Above all, never let talent walk away in silence. Because when a talented person leaves, an entire ecosystem weakens. The truth is, there are people who stay, but are not truly there anymore. This is reality. There are those who still show up to work every day, still submit reports, still engage, but their minds left the organization long ago. They no longer want to contribute. They no longer believe. And the reason is not income. It is the feeling of not being seen. No one is born talented. But many were once talented and lost simply because the organization lacked the sensitivity to keep them. As a leader, you do not need to be the best, but you must be the one who sees the best in others. This is very important. Praise at the right moment. Give feedback the right way. Listen before reacting. Trust them once instead of trying to control them 10 times. Because no one wants to work long-term for someone who does not trust them. And no one dares to shine in a place covered by the shadows of doubt. And today, if you remember just one thing, remember this: talented people do not need to be kept. They need to be understood, understand to create opportunities, and understand to inspire. Understand to hold yourself before holding them. If you truly respect one person deeply enough, you will never need to keep anyone. Because when you are sincere, talent will stay on their own, and at that point, your organization or your family will stand firm like a ripe, lush cluster of grapes reaching upward, without needing anyone to hold it up. See you in the next part, where we will explore why 9 golden words can save an entire marriage. After we have gone through the first part together, understanding and properly treating talent, now I invite you to step into the next part, a principle that can change an entire family, an organization, even a nation. I call it the grape cluster, and the principle of looking upward. The grape cluster does not fall when it is supported from above. Have you ever observed a large cluster of grapes? When you grab the bottom and try to lift it, what happens? If the cluster is large enough, mature enough, it will fall. It breaks off immediately, not because you are not strong enough, but because the nature of something heavy, if lifted only from below, is to break. And this is the image of many families and organizations today, holding from below, but forgetting to look upward. One thing I have realized over years of observing families is that most parents look downward more than upward. They focus too much on their children, obeying every word they say, worrying about every little detail, yet they lack connection and respect for their own parents, the previous generation. They listen to their children, but argue with their parents. They serve small needs, but forget the greater principle. And then, like a grape cluster pulled from below, that family falls apart. When you lose respect for one person, you unintentionally lose the ability to be respected by 1,000. This is especially true for women who keep the rhythm of family atmosphere. When a wife respects her husband, the children will learn how to respect those above them. When a mother looks upward, the children will no longer look downward. In organizations, what happens when a leader makes just one mistake? In an organization, collapse often does not begin with a major error. It starts with a small act. When a manager blindly defends subordinates and publicly criticizes superiors. A grape cluster cannot fall if everyone is looking upward, but just one person looking downward, speaking poorly of their superior, damaging respect, and the cluster breaks, with each grape falling one by one. I have seen organizations with incredible cultures fall apart just because a few employees stopped respecting the leader. And you know what happens? Once respect is lost, no system can remain stable. And this is the principle of transformation I call looking upward. As long as one person looks upward, the entire system can support one another. And families. Teach children to respect their parents, instead of just placing blame when conflict happens. In organizations, build a culture of respecting the leader, even if they are not perfect. In society, do not only look downward, look upward to see resources, to learn, to carry on values. Understand this principle and use it well, and you will hold a staff to stand firm through life's storms. There is a story I want to share with you. Great people are not great because they are big, but because they know how to look upward. You may see someone who is successful, wealthy, admired, and think they are special. But they are not greater than you. They just do one thing. They lift their head when others lower theirs. They respect those who helped them. They do not speak ill behind someone's back. They hold on to something sacred called belief in the guide. And that keeps them standing strong, long-lasting, and irreplaceable. This is a principle of survival. Those who look upward are the ones who sustain the system, and the system is the only thing that can lift you when you fall. Before moving on to the next part, I hope you will teach your child how to respect, that you have paused and looked upward, because that act, though small, could save an entire grape cluster from falling apart. And now, after we have gone through the principle of looking upward, the very principle that has saved countless families from breaking apart and countless organizations from falling, I want to lead you into a very special chapter. A chapter not only for those who are married, but for anyone trying to rearrange their life in a deep and sustainable way. I call it Simplifying Life, from the 4 pillars to the 9 golden words of marriage. Simplify to live deeply. You know, the first thing I learned from my great teachers was this: the one who is more complicated is not the one who is deeper. The one who can simplify life, that is the one who truly understands life. I want you to imagine this. Our lives, if not simplified, are like a house cluttered with belongings. Every day we open our eyes and feel yatushtana. We are not tired because of a lack of energy, but because there are too many unnecessary things. I have come to realize there are 4 pillars that help simplify the life map to live in the right direction. When you start simplifying your life, you will need a map, and that map, to me, has only 4 pillars. The first is inner self-detaching, the root of all emotions, beliefs, and peace. The second is health, the vehicle that enables you to carry out everything that matters. The third is relationships, the place where you grow, collide, learn to love, and learn to let go. And the fourth is finance, the material energy that helps you create the life you want. If you simply spend time each day reflecting on these four aspects, you are already living more deeply than 90% of those who are busy out there. Now, let's talk about a very special place: marriage. And the key to a happy marriage lies in 9 words. The first 3, love, intimacy, finance. The middle 3, shared language, shared agreement, shared journey. The last 3, shared concepts, shared frequency, shared vision. It may sound simple, but look closely. Every marital conflict stems from an imbalance in one of these 9 factors. Without love, marriage becomes a contract. Without intimacy, marriage loses physical and energetic connection. Without finance, pressure creates cracks. Without shared language, you talk but do not understand each other. Without shared agreement, every discussion becomes argument and debate. Without shared journey, walking the same path still feels distant. Without shared concepts, you lack a common perspective. Without shared frequency, you no longer feel emotionally aligned. Without shared vision, your rhythms differ and your future images clash. So, which of these 9 words are you struggling with? I am not asking how long you have been married. I am only asking you this: which of these 9 words do you feel is lost or lacking? If you dare to sit down with your partner and have an honest conversation, it could save your entire marriage, even your life, because marriage is not a destination. Marriage is an environment for growth. And no one stays happy forever unless they are willing to harmonize with each other every day. Do not ever say it is easy. Do not ever say it is hard. Say this instead: simple, but it needs to be truly done. If you simply reduce marriage to 9 words and live kindly with each one, you will witness something magical. Linking back to the 4 pillars, we see that everything begins from within. When you understand these 9 words, you also understand this: if you lack a strong inner self, you will not have enough peace to walk together. If you lack good health, how can you have the energy to love? If you lack financial stability, all conflicts will quickly flare up. And if you lack quality relationships, you will have no one to learn from or reflect with. So you see, everything is connected. That is why I call this the art of simplifying to live deeply. Life does not need many answers. It only needs you to simplify what matters and live truthfully with it each day. So you do not need to learn anything more about marriage if you have not yet lived kindly with these 9 words. And if you are seeking balance, begin again from the 4 pillars. And if you are trying to save a relationship, restore each of the 9 golden words. Nothing is ever too late, but everything will be late if you do not start today. We will meet again in the next part, where I will share a very different principle: how simple yet intentional actions can turn an ordinary person into someone great. Because greatness is not in the results, but in the way you live each day. So we have gone through the journey of simplifying life, where you learn to center around 4 solid pillars and clarify the 9 golden words of marriage. But you know, everything I have shared so far would be of no value if you do not reach this part. Simplify and be intentional, the formula that creates greatness. Remember that greatness is not in the result, but in how you live each day. I once believed that to become great, we had to do something grand, create a turning point, or invent something new. But life taught me the opposite. Greatness does not come from one moment, but from thousands of ordinary moments lived with intention. You can live a day like everyone else, or you can live that day as a version of someone great. What makes the difference is not the environment, not the conditions, but how you do what you are doing. So how can I live intentionally when my daily work is so dull? Answer this question instead. Have you ever seen someone scrubbing the floor with eyes that shine as if they were painting a masterpiece? Because they simplify everything down to one thing: I am serving, and I serve with all of who I am. And here is the formula of 6 actions that transform you into greatness. If you want a map, here is the map I give you, a formula that has created great people in every field. Simplify what you do. Do it with joy. Do it with faith. Do it gently. Do it regularly. Do it with intention. I call this the roadmap of transformation, because no one changes their life by listening to one podcast. But anyone can change their life if they live fully with each small action, simple but wholehearted. And pay attention to the word intention. Intention does not mean doing something with just emotion. Intention means you are able to hold all the complexity of what you are doing and grow from it. A person who does squats every day is not doing it just for beautiful legs. They do it to cultivate discipline, perseverance, and a strong nervous system. An 8-year-old child, if they train properly, consistently, and with intention, then 10 years later, you will see a great human being, not because of something big, but because of every small move done the right way. Simplify to act, and act with intention is the shortest path to reach the best version of yourself. No need to wait for another course. No need to wait for another degree. If you can, fold your blanket in the morning with the right mindset. Wash the dishes with gratitude. Listen to others without interrupting. Redo the same task. Then you are already ahead of 90% of people who are still searching for the secret somewhere far away. One thing I have learned is if you do the right thing once, it makes you a little better. But if you do the right thing every day, it changes you forever. Like those who have spent 10,000 hours mastering their craft. They are not just better, they are entirely different. Because right actions, repeated and done with intention, have rewired them from within. And you can too. I want to say this, especially to those who feel ordinary, that no one is born greater than you. They just chose to live more kindly than you, in small things. They chose perseverance. They chose gratitude. They chose not to give up when there were no results. And they chose to live with intention instead of letting life pass by unconsciously. If you are still listening now, then I believe you are not ordinary. You are seeking the true essence of simplify what you do. Do it with joy. Do it with faith. Do it gently. Do it regularly. And be intentional. And then life itself will prove you are great. And if you have stayed with me until now, I believe you are no longer someone who listens just to know, but someone who listens to live, reflects to act. Because everything we have just shared, from the principle of retaining talent, to the grape cluster in respect, from the 9 golden words in marriage to the 6-step formula of intention, is not a philosophy to merely ponder, but a principle for real transformation. In a world overwhelmed by noise, chaos, and competition for attention, simple depth becomes as precious as gold. And if you feel that what I shared today has meaning, do not rush to press, like, or share. Pause for 3 seconds. Ask yourself, do I truly believe this value is worth spreading? Is there someone I love who also needs this? And if the answer is yes, then when you share this video, you are not just helping me, you are helping someone be guided back to the deepest part of their humanity. Inner World Podcast aims and always strives to be the place you return to in order to rediscover yourself. So if you want to go further, if you do not want to miss the next part, then you can consider subscribing to the channel right now. But only if you are truly ready for the journey of inner transformation. I am Liam Johnson. See you in the next part. And before we end today's video, remember this: greatness is not about where you arrive, but how you walk each day with intention.